And we say good morning to you. Welcome. We are live again at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance again on this Tuesday. Had a little bit of a Facebook glitch. Nothing I can do about it, so we kept hitting the buttons till we got it to roll, and it looks like we're rolling, and we say good morning to you. We are better late than never. Again, good old modern technology gets you every time. But anyway, we thank you for being with us. We're live again here at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance, the #1 farmers agent in the great state of Tennessee. Again on this Tuesday, March the 27th. Countdown to Christmas, if you care, at 272 days. That's it. Birthdays today, Hall of Fame racer Cale Yarborough, of course, one of the sections at Bristol Motor Speedway named after Cale. He is 79 today. Also, you have Mariah Carey having a birthday of 48. Those are the birthdays of note again on this Tuesday, March the 27th. 2018. Our verse for the day to get it started in this Easter season, real simple. Are you a whosoever? John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, are you a whosoever? That whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. If you're not, what a better time, or not a better time, in my humble opinion, in the calendar year than to either rededicate your life to the Lord or give your heart to the Lord during this Easter season, the season of resurrection. Down in the grave of the old and up come the new, the Lord Jesus in 3 days. So anyway, that's our verse of the day. It's the centerpiece of the crux of Christianity, in my humble opinion, John 3:16. So that's our verse of the day on this Tuesday, March the 27th. Countdown is on. You see on the old ball cap, we're 19 days out from the Food City 500. We're 18 days away, obviously, from the Xfinity Series racing action and also the K&N Series on that Saturday, April the 14th. Here's where you can go to win tickets, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. Again, winners will be announced on Monday, April the 9th, 2 weeks from yesterday. So hopefully get your name in there and win some free tickets to take you to the world's last great Coliseum. All you have to do is put your name, first name, last name, your address, not even your address, your town, where you're from, so we can track it, just out of curiosity, see where you're living and where you're watching and listening to the show from, and then, of course, your email address, so we can be in contact with you and put the tickets in the will call window at Bristol Motor Speedway, so you can win tickets to the Food City 500, or to the Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300, or to the Zombie Auto 150. All three of those races, two of those on Saturday, and of course the big one, Food City 500, 26th anniversary of that race. Jimmy Johnson back to defend his crown. Still no win yesterday as he again continues to go through that 26, 27 race drought now, and so hoping to get things turned around. They're off this week for the Easter weekend, which I applaud NASCAR for that. They'll pick back up at the Texas Motor Speedway and then Bristol. These next two races on the schedule are owned from a year ago by Jimmy Johnson at 48 Lowe's Chevrolet. So we'll see how that goes. We will talk, or not talk, but hear from, later on in the show, from yesterday's winner. Clint Boyer got himself a grandfather clock. That's what you get when you win at Martinsville. And so it breaks a 190 race drought. Had not won since Charlotte back in 2012. That's a long time. And so Stewart Haas Racing continues to dominate early on in the season, 2018. And so we'll hear from Clint Boyer. Also hear from the truck winner, John Hunter Nemechek. We'll see how things went with him. And so we will look forward to that as well. We'll hear from both of those folks. Also, William Yarborough joins us a little bit later on to the show. Dana Whiteside's going to join us coming up next. Mike Hedrick, top of the hour with the NASCAR report. Again, reporting from action in Martinsville and the Truck Series and the Cup Series from yesterday, the paperclip. We'll hear from him. Also, we'll hear, of course, from the owner of said business, Jim Cline, from Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. All that coming up again on this Tuesday, March the 27th. We'll take a quick break, come right back, and get our first guest setting on go, ready to go. Dana Whiteside talking Final Four and the NBA as they head down the stretch, get ready for playoff participation. We'll tell you who's in, who's on the bubble, and who is certainly not in, have already been eliminated from postseason play. We will check in with Dana Whiteside next year on show number 717, live from Jim Cline Farmers Insurance, the #1 farmers agent in the entire state of Tennessee, right here on Center Street in Kingsport. 247-5400, the number to call, and we'll check in with Dana Whiteside next on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now, some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Cline, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here, the staff at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Cline Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Welcome to the Mini Morning News Show, where we are so excited about Chick-fil-A's Chicken Minis for breakfast that we've minified the news.
In real estate news, tiny homes for those who like everything within arm's reach.
In culinary news, micro food, because, small plates.
In entertainment news, this year it's all about the mini series.
In pop culture news, mini everything.
Because
Welcome to the Mini Morning News Show, where we are so excited about Chick-fil-A's Chicken Minis for breakfast that we've minified the news.
In real estate news, tiny homes for those who like everything within arm's reach.
In culinary news, micro food, because, small plates.
In entertainment news, this year it's all about the mini series.
In pop culture news, mini everything.
Because, aw. All right, thanks for listening. Now go put some mini in your morning with the chicken you love for breakfast. Chick-fil-A's Chicken Minis until 10:30 a.m.
Back with my buddy Phil, Phil's Dream Pit again, the quest for perfect barbecue. And tell us about, big guy, tell us about the dream packs of Phil's Dream Pit.
So we offer these dream packs that we offer them in equal numbers. So like 4, 8, 12, 20, 24. We can do them as much as 100 people or more. We've had them go out for 300 people. But the dream packs it comes with the pork, the sauce, the buns, and 3 sides. So you could do like beans, potato salad, and coleslaw. The price ends up costing you a little under $7 a person, which is an unbelievable value around here.
Well, obviously, spring's right around the corner. You're looking at people on the move, going to ball games and Little League games, and just being on the move. So this is a great way to come in and get a dream pack. And or if you got an event in the backyard, a cookout, or whatever you got going on, this is a great way to feed the gang, right?
It is. And another benefit of it is sometimes people are having rehearsal dinners, and they'll have volunteers from their church that will serve. So this is a very inexpensive way to hold your costs down for your rehearsal dinner or your wedding. We do offer full service catering. The price goes up a little bit to have our whole crew out there, but you could do the value packs too, and have folks from church serve it, and cost you under $7 a person.
Let's squeeze in too before I let him go. Meat by the pound. So again, another event coming up that you just want to come out here and buy this great meat by the pound. You do that as well.
I do. We offer the pulled chicken. We offer brisket by the pound, pork by the pound, chicken salad by the pound. The chicken salad, kind of give us a heads up if you're going to want 4 or 5 pounds of that, because we try not to make that much of it at once.
All this on the website.
And philsdreampit.com.
Yep.
It has our catering menu. It also has our in-house menu and the value packs, and just an awesome deal.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, they're physically located right off Interstate 26, the Eastern Star exit. So Phil's Dream Pit, philsdreampit.com. The quest for perfect barbecue, one of our great sponsors here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Back live again with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We are, again, on the phone. Let's go there and let's talk to him a little bit. That would be our buddy Dana Whiteside checking in with us. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing blessed. How are you doing, Mr. Tom?
Just fine, sir. That modern technology called Facebook gets you every now and then, but we're here and ready to roll. And so let's jump in there and go. The Final Four. What's your take? Dana, of course, checks in with us periodically, talking some hoops and other sports. Today we're going to focus on the Final Four in the NBA. So let's do it. Let's take a look first off the Final Four. How do you like the Kansas, Villanova, Loyola, and Michigan matchups coming up this weekend?
I think this is obviously with the surprise with Loyola, Chicago getting there, and surprising being the Cinderella that's made upset, getting there is intriguing matchup between them and Michigan. But I just think at the end of the day, sometimes the bigger talented and the pressure may get to Loyola at this point. And I mean, everybody's picked against them at this point and has lost out, including myself. But I'm going to go with Michigan to be able to pull this out. I mean, they're on a nice little winning streak themselves. I think they've won 12, 13 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken, going through and win the Big Ten tournament and then what they've been able to accomplish so far in the NCAA tournament. And so, but it wouldn't shock me to see Loyola pull off the upset. But if I was a gambling man, I'd go with Michigan. And then if you look at the other side of that bracket with Kansas and Villanova, I mean, these are two teams that's been in the top 5 all year long. And Villanova's been in and out of number 1 ranking. Won the championship just 2 years ago. So you've got some of the guys that still hold over from that team that's still there. Of course, the coach there, Jay Wright, obviously getting it done. He's been able to do that as a coach. So that matchup I think that's going to be a great matchup. You're going to see 2 number 1s that made it to the Final Four. But I think that with Villanova's ability to take their bigs out, and they can shoot from the perimeter, I mean, even knock down threes, that they'll spread the court and their guards, I think, with Brunson and company will have be able to pull out a close game is what I think it'll end up being, though.
I think you're exactly right. It's going to be very, very exciting to watch those games, obviously, this weekend. So with all the upsets across the brackets, again, we're talking to Dana Whiteside with us. Parity, it's been a fluky year, or is it a year that shows that there's parity in college basketball? What do you think?
I think it has a lot to do with parity. I mean, you you never had a clear-cut team that wasn't flawless. They didn't have flaws at some point somewhere in their game, whether it's on the offensive side, defensive side, guard play, inside, somewhere. Each team has a flaw that it wasn't stacked from top to bottom. And so some of those times, I always liken it to this, is in the game of basketball it's about matchups. And so when you have some glaring weaknesses and everything, there will be certain teams that can exploit that. And you don't match up well against them in terms of the gameplay, and you can see these upsets. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best tournaments I've ever seen. To see some of the teams that are traditionally like powerhouses, but have come out and made a difference and made some games, made some big shots, buzzer beaters, and was able to pull out some big wins. I think one of the interesting facts is if you look at the Dukes and the Kentuckys and some of those teams that have a lot of these one-and-done players, they're not there. They're not in the Final Four. And so sometimes those guys, they're 18, 19 years old, and the bigger the stage, the more the pressure, and they're going against maybe a smaller team in terms of tradition, a smaller team in stature, or maybe don't match up as well talent-wise, but those teams are led with a lot more upperclassmen and juniors and seniors, so the experience means a lot. Sometimes experience will win out over talent, and so that's why I think some of the upsets is happening, and which has made for a great tournament this year.
Absolutely. We're talking to Dana Whiteside. Hello to Kurt Stevenson. Hello to Donna Bryan. Hello to Betty Perry and Elizabeth, and watching the show, among others. Again, like us and share us. We're live at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. Jim's going to be joining us coming up here in a few minutes. William Yarber is going to join us. Mike Hedrick joins us top of the hour talking NASCAR. Big win yesterday for Clint Boyer, snapping a 190-race drought. That's a long time, all the way back to 2012 when he won in Charlotte. And so we'll hear from Clint Boyer later in the show, and also the truck winner, John Hunter Nemechek. Again, tomorrow we will be live at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Bruton Smith building with show number 718 tomorrow. We're talking to Dana Whiteside. So the NIT tournament, they're doing some experimentation. They've moved the three-point line back. They've widened the foul lane. They have cut it from 2 20-minute halves to 4 10-minute quarters, and so they're doing some tweaking. Your take on that? And also, I threw out on the table the other day, in fact yesterday, and got some interesting response both last week and yesterday about the possibility at some point of doing a best of 3. Get your two finalists from the Final Four for the national championship, not play one night, but play 3 nights, the best out of 3. So what's your take on some of the changes and some of the tweaking the NCAA is doing right now?
I think it's very interesting. When I first heard about with the 3-point line and the movement of the lane, and I was like, wow, that's kind of different. And I guess that's the time to do something like that. Maybe in a tournament setting that the NIT means something. It used to be the actual tournament that meant the championship years and years ago. But to give maybe a little bit, add a little something for viewers to come tune in to watch, see a little something different with the game. The quarters, shortening the games from 20-minute half quarters. They've already done this with the girls' game, the women's ladies' game, college, and so it seems to have worked well. And I think you've heard some coaches that say that they would, in terms of the men's side, that they would like to see that also, because that would give you a chance to get breaks and substitution, but you would totally have to change the way you prepare for a game because of your substitution patterns, in terms of how to manipulate, your lineups and your matchups on how you would play, whether you switch up your defense or offense and how you would go because of the breaks in the game. So I think it's interesting. I think that one aspect you will see eventually come over to the men's game. The lane and some of the other, the line of the lane, I don't know if that will actually come. But who would have thought the 3-point line? I remember in middle school, when I was in middle school, long time ago, when they implemented the 3-point line in college and high school, and and all the way down with us. And, we all inspired to shoot that, and it took a lot to get it up there to get to that rim. It was something big, it knew that everybody wanted to be a part of. So, I guess anything's possible, but it's something that we'll just you're always trying to look at ways to tweak and add to the game to make it a better experience and more entertaining for the fans and the public to enjoy.
Absolutely. We're talking to our buddy Dana Whiteside. We're live here at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. Jim's going to join us coming up here in a little while. The number one farmers farmers insurance agent in the state. And so we're getting ready to deal about some NBA basketball. But again, 247-5400. Jim will join us coming up here in just a few minutes. So the College Basketball Invitational. They start a best of three tonight. North Texas at San Francisco. They play for the national championship from the CBI standpoint. So my question to you, Dana Whiteside, the best of three on a national championship format. You like that? You want to keep it to one game? If you have a bad night, you have a chance to redeem yourself. You go the best of three, or do you leave it a one game for the national championship? What do you think?
I like the one game. I mean, you look throughout the professional ranks, in baseball and in basketball and hockey, you have these series, and I mean, even in baseball in college, you have the series for deciding the championships, softball also. But I think with basketball, and you see the excitement that we've had this year with the NCAA tournament, and even with what you have in your conference tournaments, and I know that this may be something they would implement for a championship, but it's about who's the best team on that night. Who shows up, who gives everything they have and makes the shots and plays the defense and coaches the coach for that 40-minute span. And I think you'll lose something with that if you go to a 2-3 game or more setting in terms of setting a championship on that level. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but I understand some tweaks and everything that you might want to do enhance it, but there are certain things I think you need to keep it the tradition that you have with that, and just like they say on there, just have that one shining moment, that you're going to have to hit that shot or win that game, and we've had great championship games over the year. You just wonder what will players do, and how the game would change, knowing that, if we lose this game or we're down by 3 or 4 points or 8 points or 10 points, we got tomorrow night or we got 2 days from now to redeem ourselves. But, where, they may just kind of let it go, and versus, giving it all they got to try to get back into that game, which would make things a little bit more entertaining, I would say. So.
Talking to Dana Whiteside, got him for a few more minutes here. We're live at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance on this Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll be in the lobby of the Bruton Smith Building at Bristol Motor Speedway. Thursday we'll be at Champion Chevrolet. Friday we'll be taking Good Friday off for the obvious reason. And so we'll work our way through this week and then get ready for a big full week next week. Baseball today, 4:45 airtime, 5 o'clock first pitch. Elizabethton at 4-2, hosting University High at 6-3. And it'll be a 5 o'clock first pitch from O'Brien Stadium, the home of the Twins in Elizabethton. And our broadcast brought to you by the great folks from Chick-fil-A in Elizabethton. Dana Whiteside, here we go, NBA. They punched their ticket in the Eastern Conference. Toronto, Boston, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Indiana on the bubble. Washington, Milwaukee, Miami, Detroit, and Charlotte still trying to get in. They take 8. They've got 5. They got 3 more to pick or to earn the way to get in. These teams have been eliminated. The Knicks, the Bulls, Brooklyn, Orlando, and the Atlanta Hawks are done for this year. So what's your take on the Eastern Conference right now, the NBA?
Well, in the East, you looked at throughout the season, the 3 top teams has been there in terms of Cleveland and Boston and Toronto pretty much all year. And Cleveland's had their ups and downs, total roster overhaul, as we've seen. And but they're on a 5-game winning streak right now, and who can count out LeBron James? I mean, he's been to 7 straight NBA Finals, with teams that were less talented, and teams that were a little bit more talented. So, and there again, it's about the matchups. Cleveland has had a lot of success against Toronto in the regular season and in the playoffs. So, that plays in the psyche and the confidence of teams. So, you wonder if you ever got to that matchup of a Cleveland-Toronto, what would happen there? Although they're rolling really well in Toronto this year with the guard play, but that's happened in the past too. And then you got the Boston. Boston, of course, losing Kyrie for the amount of time, it makes it a little difficult for those guys. Losing a playmaker and a scorer and a player who's been there, done that with, winning championships and playing for championships as we did in Cleveland. But, other guys have got to step up. And then we talk about a series, if a team can get a little hot, get some confidence to give them a team such as like right now, if the playoffs start, I believe Milwaukee would be the matchup with them. And you got somebody like Giannis and some of the guys, they've got Henson on the team that could cause some problems and mismatch problems on the court that, a team like Boston could be gone in the first series, just as much as, to advance all the way to the finals, especially with the loss of Kyrie. So the Eastern Conference, I still think you got those three top teams are, barring injuries, and as we will address when we talk about the Western Conference, injuries is a major factor at this time of the year, and everybody's a little beat up, but when you start losing your star players for amount of games or some, important role players, it can have a effect, major, obviously, in wins and losses. So, but it's obviously that's why we play the game. It's not played on paper, but I think we're setting up for what will be after that first round. Be some great matchups going on further in the eastern side of the conference.
Hottest team in the East right now would be the Philadelphia 76ers. They won 7 in a row, 8 out of their last 10. Cleveland's won 5 straight, 7 out of their last 10. Boston won 4. They've won 7 out of their last 10. The teams that are in a tough spot right now, Atlanta's lost 3 in a row, 9 out of their last 10. Thus, they're the worst team in the Eastern Conference. So, again, the teams that are in, Toronto, Boston, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Indiana, and on the cusp, Washington, Milwaukee, Miami, Detroit, and Charlotte. So you got basically 5 teams trying to make 3, squeeze into 3 playoffs coming up Eastern Conference. Then you look at the West, and of course you see the Houston Rockets have overtaken the Golden State Warriors for the best record in the is it in the NBA? Yep, it is. 60-14. Golden State at 54-19. Those teams are both in, I should say. Portland, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, New Orleans, Utah, Minnesota, Denver, and the Clippers all have a chance. These teams have been eliminated. The Lakers, Sacramento, Dallas, Memphis, and Phoenix are done for the year as far as possibility to get into the playoffs. So what's your take in the Western Conference right now? Is the Houston Rockets for real?
I think they're very much for real. I think who will be the MVP of this year's season will be James Harden. And you added the pieces of Chris Paul and some of the guys like you have Gordon coming off the bench and Trevor Ariza. I mean, this team, they found their niche on how they play offense and defense, and that is surprising to me on the defensive side that how well they're playing with each other, playing together, and been able to attack a team such as Golden State. They've had their success forms during the regular season. And obviously with everybody, if you look at the best record in the association. So, the first team to 60 wins, I think I heard a stat that the first team to win 60 games in the NBA season goes on to win the championship 65% of the time. So odds are in their favor that they will. Obviously having home court advantage all the way through, and that's a tough place to play. As we've seen in over the last couple of years that they've been there knocking on the door and trying to get past the Oklahoma cities when Kevin Durant was still there and with paired up with Russell Westbrook, and then over the last couple of years with teams such as Golden State also. James is now Harden has got his help, and I think you're starting to see that manifest right now in the regular season, and for those other teams, you look at, like you said, from spots 3 through 8, and you actually got two or three teams in the bottom below that. They're still vying. They're all within 3 or 4 games of each other, and with 7-8 games left in the regular season, you kind of got the playoffs going now. You got 1-game playoffs every night because 2 nights ago we had Oklahoma City and Portland playing, and the winner of that game goes to the 3 spot, and the loser flips to the 4, and kind of solidifies that position of you might want to stay away from Houston until you have to. But then what is that, if you get to the second round, but then what is your reward with that? You get Golden State maybe, which is not necessarily a reward, I would say, for most teams in the playoffs. But And that's a team right now that's struggling with injury. That was one of the things that everybody has said over the last couple of years is what can stop Golden State? And a lot of people have said it would be the injury bug, and it has hit. With missing time of basically four of their big four. Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and then Steph Curry now again with the knee. And so, it's anybody's ball game. There could be a tough matchup because if you look at who can fall anywhere in that 7 or 8 spot there or 6 spots, I mean, you got teams San Antonio, you got teams like Minnesota who's up and coming and young. Oklahoma City could even fall down in there, and Oklahoma City's had success against teams such as Golden State this year too. So I think that the Western Conference, from the first round all the way through their Western Conference Finals, you're going to have a great matchup, great basketball, and I think you're really looking for exciting playoffs that starts here in the next couple of weeks.
We'll get you back on very, very soon. Great report as always. Awesome report. Very thorough. Thank you, my friend. You're a pro, and so we'll check back in with you next week or maybe the week after, getting ready for the NBA playoffs and the Final Four coming up on Monday night. So, hey, great job, my friend. Thanks, Dana Whiteside. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right. We thank you.
Yeah, great job, man. That guy is good. I appreciate him very much. Hello to Brian Jenkins watching the show in Elizabeth. And don't forget, we've got Cyclone baseball today. It'll be 4:45 airtime, 5 o'clock first pitch from the stadium, O'Brien Stadium. We will have for you the Elizabethan Cyclones and the University High Junior Bucks varsity game. Airtime 4:45, first pitch at 5 o'clock. Brought to you by the great folks from Chick-fil-A in Elizabeth, and we're very excited about that. As promised, here is Clint Boyer winning yesterday at the Paperclip. We're going to take a break and go to the top of the hour, and we're going to be joined by our buddy Mike Hedrick, the NASCAR fans reporter. But here is Clint Boyer. Here is his comments about winning yesterday, breaking a 190 race drought, taking home the grandfather clock from Martinsville Speedway. Here's Clint Boyer, the number 14 driver for Stewart Haas Racing, here in the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
But I mean, it was just something felt right about today. Our weekend, all 4 cars were fast. I followed Eric in practice, and I was like, man, I told Mike, I was like, that 10 car's as good as we are, no questions asked. He was really strong, wasn't catching him, any way, shape, or form, and I knew that he was going to have a good race. The 4 car was fast. Kurt's always fast here. And then driving up here this morning, my wife and I were listening to 90s country and jamming out on that, and it was just, I don't know why, it just felt right. And then to fast forward here to make sure that it happened at this track, I'm just telling you, it meant a lot to me to be able to put it all together at this track.
And again, Clint Boyer not bragging, but very glad. I mean, it's a long drought, and I listened to some more of the interview yesterday. He was referring to Kevin Harvey. It's tough. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm human to come back in there on Mondays and see another driver in the camp winning races. I'm tickled to death for him, but he said, I'm a competitor. I want to be the guy winning the races. And so I appreciate his honesty yesterday in another part of the interview. We'll have some more of his take coming up later on this week, and also some of the other drivers. Kyle Busch, not happy, finished second again. He said second ain't going to get it. And so he is the points leader right now, but he is not happy on how things are going on the track. 2018, been second 3 or 4 times now on the season, so he's not a happy camper. Hello, Brian Jenkins. Thank you, my friend, for watching. Again, Cyclone Baseball, cannot wait. And what a game last Friday, taking the team that eliminated them last year and this going into the section to go to the state tournament. Was down 4-0 going into the bottom of the 7th. Elizabeth and the home team tying it up 4-4. Stopped them at the top of the 8th, and then we score in the bottom of the 8th on a sacrifice fly by Lawson Wagner to plate Logan Eastep and win it 5-4 in 8 innings. That was awesome. So we will bring them right back to you today. This Cyclone baseball team, I'm telling you, been doing this a long time, and there's just something, I don't know how to put my finger on it. There's something about this team that makes them very, very special. Probably starts with Ryan Presley. He's a class act, and Coach White and Coach Casey and Coach Diaz. These guys are getting it done as coaching staff. But I'm telling you, there's just something different about this team. And, again, I've been doing this a long time, so I can say that with some sense of authority that there is just something different about them. I'm not sure how to explain it, but they're a fun bunch of guys to be around. And so we'll see. Love Clint, says Rob Fritz. So there you go. So you're a happy camper. And of course, he loves Bristol. He's one of the biggest proponents of Bristol Motor Speedway, where we're going to be in a couple of weeks. And hopefully you'll be too, because all you have to do to make sure you can do that, to be up there, we're going to give away tickets. Multiple winners going to the Food City 500. Multiple winners going to the Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300 on Saturday, April the 14th. Eric Jones back in town to defend his crown for that race. Of course, here, Jimmy Johnson, JJ back to defend his crown from a year ago in the Food City 500. So all you have to do is put your first name, last name, the town you're from, and your email address. That's all we need. I'm not going to sell this out to anybody. I want you to know that right up front. We don't sell this list to anybody. You're not going to be hassled by any network marketers or anybody like that. No, I'm just a one-man band here. I'm an old country boy that wants to give you tickets to Bristol Motor Speedway, and the list that I get of the winners or the qualifiers and then the ultimate winners stays with me. So I want you to know when you go, oh, guys, he's going to sell it off to some, no. Once it's over, we shred them. We put them in the old shredder, the names, and we don't worry about it anymore. So, no, please understand if you want to qualify for tickets, and I hope you do, that you're not going to be having to wonder if I'm selling this thing on or passing on to a XYZ company so you can be hassled and harangued about stuff. No, it doesn't work for me. I don't like that being done to me. I'm certainly not going to do that to you. So just rest assured, when you qualify for anything I do on the Tom Taylor Sports Show that I'm giving away, it doesn't go any further than right here on this show. Once the contest is over, winner or no winner, I throw everything in the old shredder and shred it up. Quick break. We'll be right back. Mike Hedrick joins us. Jim Cline's going to join us as well. So is William Yarber. All that straight ahead here as we are live at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance, the #1 farmers insurance agent in this state and 3 other states as well. This guy gets it done. We'll tell you how he can help you with homeowners. If you have motorcycles, jet skis, any of that. Of course, it's getting ready to get the toys out, as he calls it. And motorcycles, a lot of folks have been riding them year-round, but certainly the boats and all the watercraft that you'll be using for the spring and summer, it's that time. Or do you have them properly insured? Are you a renter? He sells a lot of renter insurance, and there's a lot of loopholes from homeowners or from apartment building owners or condo owners that you may not know about. So if you are a renter, you better make sure you got a proper renter's insurance. Well, the landlord takes care of that. Maybe yes and maybe no. So he does a lot of policies for renter's insurance as well. So we'll talk to Jim coming up in a few minutes. Mike Hedrick joins us next. Right after this timeout, we'll talk a little NASCAR. And we'll go to Martinsville, see what happened yesterday in the paperclip. Clint Boyer and John Hunter Nemechek winners. We'll find out more about that from Mike Hedrick next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. The 10th anniversary birthday celebration is on at Phil's Dream Pit, Eastern Star exit of Interstate 26. Anytime this week you stop by and dine at Phil's Dream Pit and take in some canned goods to help Second Harvest Food Bank, you'll get 10% off the total of your bill all week long. Plus, this coming Saturday, the actual day of the 10th anniversary birthday celebration, when you take in canned goods and you dine there this coming Saturday, February the 10th, you'll get 20% off the total of your meal. How about that? Happy birthday and happy anniversary from Phil's Dream Pit all week long. Take in canned goods to help out Second Harvest Food Bank and dine there on Saturday, and it's 20% off, their way of saying thanks for 10 great years at Phil's Dream Pit, Eastern Star exit of Interstate 26. See you this week at Phil's Dream Pit. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad-spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
We are back live again. We're going to go to the phone. Dear friend, I'll tell you what, this guy's a trooper. He's had some medical setbacks, and he doesn't let anything stop him. As Daddy would say, he's tougher than a pine knot. Mike Hedrick, NASCAR Fans Reporter. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Hey, and you know what? Them NASCAR boys are tough. They made it through all that snow there in Martinsville. 5 inches of snow. Who would have ever thought they'd have to clear that much off the track there, Tom?
I know, but once they got going, how about it? The old boy broke a 190-race drought, Clint Boyer. So tell us all about it. As he got the W, Kyle Busch second, Ryan Blaney third. So run it down for us from yesterday. What happened to the paperclip?
Well, it was a great race. I mean, like we said, we did see Clint Boyer get his first win in 6 years. That's amazing. That's his 9th Cup win. That puts him right behind guys like Donnie Allison and Sterling Marlin that have 10. But it was great. Stuart Haas and Fords have been running strong all year long. We saw some of the usual suspects up there up front early, your Denny Hamlins and Kyle Busch even. But Ryan Blaney looked really good in the number 12 Penske. He won Stage 2. He actually led for 145 laps. But really, once it got to that final third stage, Clint Boyer just took off. He led for 215 laps. Kyle Busch got up there. He led for 1 lap, but then Clint Boyer got it back. You know, like you said, the last win he had was in Charlotte, and that was in 2012. That's 6 years ago. That's amazing. I was telling my wife the other night, I'm a competitor. If I hadn't won in 6 years, I'd be really questioning myself. So really good for them. Stuart Haas, I mean, they're dominating this season. It's not just the Fords. It's Stuart Haas. They've got them 4 of the 6 wins. Right now they've gone to victory lane. But you couldn't be happier for a guy than Clint Boyer. Watching his young boy come out there, and see him and get to be in victory lane and wave the checkered flag. And it was just great. Everybody was excited for him. And, it was a great race. Not only did he do well, but, guys like Jimmy Johnson, he finished 15th. That's not bad. He was 1 lap down. But like everybody's talking about, that was Kyle Busch's 4th second-place finish in a row. Now, here's something else that I just found out. NASCAR just posted this just a bit ago. Kyle Busch has 43 Cup wins. He has 43 second-place finishes. He was just that close to having 86 victories. That's very close. When you add those together, that's very impressive right there. 43 Cup wins, 43 second place. We know he's frustrated because he wants to get that win, but he's running good. You get to be first after you get to be second there for sure.
There you go. He's our points leader of the week off. Of course, the points look like this. Top 5 will be Kyle Busch, 8-point lead over Martin Truex Jr., then Ryan Blaney, then Joey Logano, then Brad Keselowski. Your top 5 again. They're off this week for Easter, which I applaud NASCAR for doing that. Also, later on in the interview that we captured some of Clint Boyer a few minutes ago, but later on in the interview, he said, and I appreciate his honesty. He said, I go in there on Monday mornings. I love Kevin Harvick. He's a champion. Kurt Busch is a champion. Eric Amarola's doing good. He said, you know what? We sit around that table, and I don't like the fact that, the other guy in our company's winning the races. He said, I'm a competitor. I love him, and this is not a negative. He said, I want to be the guy winning the races. I appreciate somebody that's that competitive that's not just out there riding around. And you talk about, as you said, I never thought about this. I mean, you go to a quarterback or a basketball player, take another sport where you haven't won anything in 6 years. A lot of guys went to the house and said, we're going to do something else. So I applaud his tenacity, and obviously he's got a lot of intestinal fortitude. But he said, again, on Monday mornings when we go in and applaud and congratulate Kevin Harvick, who had those 3 in a row, he said, hey, man, I want to be winning some races too. So I appreciate Clint Boyer and his honesty because, we should be, and we all are, and most of the time those guys are, competitors, and sometimes you think some of those guys just go out there and just drive around, but not this guy. He wants to win, and I appreciate his tenacity.
Oh, and I agree. And he's a great guy in the sport. He's been really around a long time. He's been in the sport 14 years. He's got 439 races under his belt. He's 39 years old. So, I mean, he's starting to be one of those elder statesmen. There's only 4 guys in the sport right now that are even older than him. That's Jimmy Johnson and Harvick and McMurray and Newman. So he's right up there in years. And I think it's great. He's so fun to interview, unless he sees a squirrel, because he can get really distracted really quick. But I mean, that was the whole racing was really good. And about the older guys, Kevin Harvick, he shot one across the bow this morning at the young guys. Kevin Harvick tweeted this morning, and I'll quote: "In case anybody was wondering, the average age of the winners in the first 6 races, 38.5. Hashtag old guys rule." So one there across the bow for the old guys, for the young guys. And he's right, really, in the top 10, there were 3 young guys. Blaney finished 3rd. Alex Bowman had a very respectable 7th place finish, and Chase Elliott was 9. So they're not getting the wins, but the young guys are chipping away at the stone there a little bit.
So who's struggling? Again, we're talking to Mike Hendricks here on the screen, the NASCAR fans reporter. Which team is struggling? Obviously, you look at Stewart Haas, as you said, winning 4 of the first 6 races. They're not struggling, but what as a team, or which as a team, is struggling right now?
Well, I think you really got to look at Hendricks Motorsports. I mean, they are really struggling. When you look at the points right now, Alex Bowman is their best guy. He's in 14th. Jimmy Johnson in 17th. Chase Elliott 18th. And the young rookie William Byron all the way back there in 20th. So they have all 4 of their drivers outside of the top 14 or less. And so I think I don't know whether – I still think it's a manufacturer thing. I still think that they're getting used to the new Chevy bodies, that new Camaro ZL1 body. I'm surprised that Chad Knaus is still having that much trouble with it. But it seems to be systematic in that whole organization. There's not one of them that's really zooming ahead of everybody else. I mean, like we said, it was good to see Alex Bowman. He got a 7th place finish. That was really good for them and their organization. He's actually been kind of averaging about 16th, and he's been kind of a question, coming into that 88 car after Dale Jr. Is this guy going to be good? So he's looking bright, but I still think the problem is with that Hendricks organization, and I think it's the Chevy problem.
We're talking to our buddy Mike Hendricks, NASCAR fans reporter. So on the Truck Series, John Hunter Nemechek brings on the checkers, and let's talk about that race. It went first yesterday. It was supposed to go on Saturday. We know the weather played havoc in Martinsville, so they got it in, and John Hunter Nemechek brings on the checkers. Let's talk about the Camping World Truck Series win.
Well, hey, it's a good thing people listen to our show, because some of the usual suspects that we talked about last week were the guys that you needed to be looking out for. Your Ben Rhodes, your John Hunter Nemechek, those guys. The race started out on Saturday like it was supposed to. Ben Rhodes in the 27 got out from the pole. He led the first 23 laps, but started snowing on him a little bit. Next thing you know, it had accumulated, and they wound up canceling it all out. So they got that race back going yesterday at 11 o'clock before they got the Cup race. And, he did get out there. Ben Rhodes did lead another 134 laps, but he had trouble in the pit road, and that messed him up. And really, once John Hunter Nemechek got out front, he really put a school into them. We told everybody to look out for him. But also, we said keep an eye on Kyle Busch Motorsports, and those drivers right there. The Noah Gragson got him a 5th place finish. Now, he was up there battling for first. He had to come from way in the back, but did a great job. The young Harrison Burton, we know him as Jeff Burton's son. He's a K&N champion from there. But he got one of his first opportunities in the truck. You know what? He finished 8th in the Kyle Busch Motorsports truck. And Todd Gilliland, really, he led a whole bunch. He was charging. He finished 14th. So the guys we said to be looking for did well. A couple of the veterans didn't do as well. They got messed up a little bit. Matt Crafton, we would have looked for him to do well. He finished 15th. He was still running. He was on the lead lap. But just behind him, a couple of laps down, was Johnny Sauter. A little surprising to see him in the 21 have a little bit of trouble. But Johnny Sauter's still up there in the point standing. He's still number 1 up in there. But that was one of the better races, because we saw more of what we normally think of Martinsville. I mean, there was people taken out. There was 11 cautions. Guys are spinning each other, nosing each other. In the Cup race, we only saw 1 caution. That was really a caution, and that was McMurray. But, yeah, the excitement really, I think, was in that truck race. They were going 3 wide at a time. But good job, John Hunter and Nemechek. That was a great win right there.
So from a consistency standpoint, again, we're talking to Mike Hedrick, NASCAR Fans Reporter. The trucks are now off until May the 4th. They're talking well over a month before they race again. So, and they go 3 in a row, Dover, Kansas, and Charlotte. And get a little bit more consistent in June and July, but a big gap of time. So what do these guys, hello, by the way, Craig Phelps watching the show. Thank you, my friend. So what do these guys do at this point? I mean, you're down. Do you go race another tracks? Do you get involved in another series? But again, the trucks don't race again until May the 4th at Dover. So what do they do between now and then?
I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of guys try to spend time with their teams, maybe a little bit more shop time, just to build that bonding between them. You're going to love to race, and they're going to be racing dirt tracks and ovals and those kinds of things. And then also you're going to have guys that are just going to either get a chance or go up and hang with an Xfinity team or try to run an Xfinity race or two if they can.
We're talking again to Mike Hedrick. He'll rejoin us again next week. Of course, this week they're off for the Easter break, but preview Texas for us, and also birthdays today. Looking down the birthday list, Todd Bodine, Ty Dillon, Dennis Setzer, former driver, having birthdays today. But again, a current driver, Ty Dillon, having a birthday. So happy birthday to Austin's little brother. Hey, buddy. How are you? I'm doing great. About 2 minutes, you'll be ready. So sorry, Mike. Let's go back to you in Virginia. So, again, I don't know. I've lost my total train of thought. Jim walked in and scared me. So what were we talking about? Oh, Texas preview. We got the.
Well, you done saw a squirrel, Tom, and got you all messed up right there. We were talking about we're all heading up to Texas Motor Speedway here after we take the Easter break because, NASCAR is pretty smart. They don't mess with God. They let Easter go, and they don't mess with mothers either. They don't try to race on Mother's Day. I think those are two good choices to stay away from. But heading to Texas Motor Speedway, we got another mile and a half. It's a D shape. Jimmy Johnson won the race there last year. He's actually got the most wins. He's got 7 wins there, the most top 5s, the most top 10s. Kevin Harvick won the November race, though. So we're going to be looking for some of those same usual suspects there. Those guys who run up front. Remember Martin Truex, he's kind of the king of the mile and a half. So look for some of the usual suspects to get back out there. And I think we're going to actually start learning because we've been kind of going all around with young drivers and older drivers, and they've had different kind of chances and different kind of races. Martinsville was an advantage to the older guys. But now we're going to start and get into the meat and potatoes. That's the mile and a half, and I think that's where anybody can win. So I think if some of these young guys are going to start making moves and start getting some wins, I think it's going to be in these mile and a half, and that's probably going to mean starting right there at Texas Motor Speedway.
There you go. Great report, my friend. Thank you again. Enjoy the Easter weekend for what it is, and it's the death, burial, and resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And so back in the saddle next week, getting ready for Texas. Jimmy Johnson going to go down and see if he can't snap that drought of his own, much like Clint Boyer did this week. Not as much. 26 race drought for Jimmy Johnson, 190 race drought for Clint Boyer. So enjoy your Easter weekend, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you week after next. You'll be on that Saturday going down over the edge of Bristol Motor Speedway. Are you ready? Have you been practicing? How does somebody practice for going over a 10-story building?
Trying to get my courage up. Yeah, trying to get my courage up. Like you said, we're going to be going over the edge. We're going to be rappelling down the iconic 200-foot Bristol Motor Speedway elevator tower right there for a good cause. It's YWCA, and so raising funds. I'm very close to my $1,500 goal. I'm about $275 away from it, so we think we're going to get that. So, yep, I'll be in town. I know you're going to be emceeing the event. I'm not sure I want to have a microphone on me, Tom. I think you're going to be able to hear me scream like a baby from the very top all the way down to the bottom.
Squealing like a little piglet, but you'll have fun. I'm going to be cheering you on, my friend. I'll see you next Saturday, all right?
All right, screen taters, and God bless everybody real good. He is risen. He is risen.
You got it. Good man right there. Mike Hedrick joining us live in Northern Virginia talking NASCAR. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. And the gentleman who is talking about the number one farmer's agent in the entire state of Tennessee is with us. We're in his building. We are a proud card-carrying member of his client base. He has my car insurance. Has for about 18 to 20 years. I like the old boy. He's a nice one. And so we're going to talk to our buddy. He is like a Japanese car. He's a nice one. Hello to Andy Thaxton, West Virginia watching. Craig Phelps is watching. Bill Patrick in Johnson City's watching. Some of the folks, thank you. We'll take a break. Don't forget we have Elizabethton baseball today. Elizabethton and University High, 4:45 airtime, 5 o'clock first pitch. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Elizabethton. Jim Cline Farmers Insurance joins us next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City is starting off 2018 with monster savings on over 350 new Chevrolets to choose from. Take advantage of these awesome savings for a limited time only. Silverado Crew and Double Cabs, $10,000 off MSRP. 17 Spark, $11,995. 18 Equinox, $19,995. 17 Traverse, $28,995. 17 Corvette, 20% off MSRP. Shop us online 24/7 and don't forget our Saturday parts and service hours. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
The savings continue in the month of February at Max Medicine in Kingsport. All natural factors 20% off. Folic acid, CoQ10, apple cider vinegar capsules, B12, they're all on sale. Anything natural factors, all 20% off the month of February at Max Medicine Mart. No coupons, no limits. It's a flat 20% off anytime you buy natural factors in February at Max Medicine Mart. Max Medicine Mart, Center Street, Kingsport. Natural factors 20% off in February. Make tracks to Max Medicine Mart.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
We're back in with the Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. That's where we are, broadcasting live again on this Tuesday. Again, the countdown to Christmas at 272 days till Christmas, which is not really what you want to hear, I'm sure, going into the Easter season. But there he is, that big old tall drink of water. Get me off the screen for a while and get him on the screen. Look at him right there, big old handsome rascal. All right, let's get the most important. You know what I'm going to ask you?
I know.
Give me the very latest on
I
this.
was just sitting there, thinking, because we was talking about toys.
There you go.
So there's Claire Bear, and Claire is doing marvelous.
All right.
She is just, I know.
I can get it up.
Oh my. Claire Bear's doing marvelous. She's just growing like a weed. Got that little bike toy. She's got a little car toy. As we said, it is the season for toys.
Sure.
It is the season for toys.
So you have, under the definition of toys, you would have boats, jet skis, motorcycles,
ATVs, all the recreational items we go out and play with. So, and we do have some excellent products. When I say that, on our boat policies, we have agreed values, so most of my competition does actual cash value. This, we come up with an agreed value, and if somebody steals the whole thing, and we have $20,000, $40,000, $15,000 on it, you're going to get that for it, whether it happens right now or 5 years from now, because based on when we come in and insure it, we agree to what you're wanting. So it's a great boat policy. We can get coverage for all the tackle and the rods and things to that nature that you have. So those are excellent. Just like I was telling you, I've already had a guy that's traded his travel trailer and upgraded to a new one. I've got another one that just bought one, and we're already adding those on. So those travel trailers, same thing, or motor homes, the ones that actually have where you drive them and take them. So we do offer motorhome coverage. And then, of course, you get into your jet skis and your ATVs and all that. So those are toy items that we can help you with, get coverage on it. If you lay them up some during the season, we can get a credit for it. Okay, you may lay up the boat for 3 months. You may lay up your motorcycle for a couple of months that you're not riding during that, and we take that into consideration in our area because they're not used year round. A few are. I have a few boaters that, those fishermen fish all year long. So, we can cover those boat tournaments with the boats. When you have to have certain liability and you need the liability for the boat tournaments, we can handle that. We cover you whether you fish only in your state or multiple states. We have people go down to Georgia and Florida and fish as well. So all that we can help you with. And, the biggest thing that we want to remind people about is on those toys have to be insured on their own. People think homeowners or renters or something's going to cover them if they're stolen out of the house or out of the basement or the garage or the utility building, and that's not true with any company, any carrier. They all have to have their own coverage. So if the building caught on fire or someone stole it out of that building, as well as, when I'm talking to people, when you have the ATVs, the golf carts and all that, and you're transporting them, if you want coverage in case that trailer gets hit or you lose it or you hit somebody with it and damage the item inside of it, it's still a collision. So it's covered in so many different factors that we talk about.
Didn't know that.
So, there you go. There's all kinds of things I can teach you.
All the times I come over, I didn't know that. I learned something new. That's interesting. So if I have a golf cart or a boat, and I'm taking from here to the lake, and somebody T-bones me, or hits the truck or the boat.
Or you hit them with it.
Yeah. So
that item has to have its coverage too.
I didn't know that.
The liability of you hitting someone else comes off of the vehicle where we pull it. With farmers, you got to check with your carrier, but farmers, but the actual damage to it, if you want it covered, we have to have a coverage on that unit. Just like our towing, the boat policy will have towing. And so we added on the boat because it covers it when it's in tow. So if you broke down and needed to hold the whole thing towed in, or when you're on the water
and it breaks
down and you need towed in and the marina charges you so much to bring you in. So that tow covers in on and off water for that.
That's the reason why I need to give him a call. 247. Hello, Jerry Keller. Thank you, my friend, watching the show. 247-5400, the number to call. Licensed to sell insurance in how many states?
Tennessee and Virginia.
Yeah.
We do Tennessee and Virginia, and we can do all those things, just what we said. We can do the homeowners, the boats, the automobiles, recreational vehicles, and we do offer renters coverage because, people rent a place and then sometimes they don't think about it, but, the landlord's only covering the structure that they're leasing. The landlord does not insure their personal contents. So you take somebody that rents a 1,200 square foot house, they could easily have 50 to 60,000 worth of items to buy back because they may own their own washer and dryer, and they may own this, and then they have their TV, and then they have their clothes, and then they have the bedroom and the mattress. And if things get damaged from fire, or if a storm came and damaged the roof, that let water in that destroys your items, that is covered because the items in the home through renters are covered just like homeowners covers contents, but it's just we're insuring the contents. But it will also include additional living. So if you had a loss and you couldn't stay there and you had to go to a hotel motel, it's going to pay the hotel motel expenses while your landlord gets it repaired for you to go back, or if it's a major loss, till you can relocate to another place to live. Because that's going to take time. You got to find the place to live. If it's a major loss, you got to buy that stuff back. You got to go pick out that bedroom suite. You got to get the living room suite. You got to get the pots and pans, and it takes time to get all that accomplished.
That's good stuff. Good information. 247-5400, the number to call. So if you're a renter and you make the assumption, which is probably not smart, obviously, to make the assumption, well, the landlord's got me covered. Maybe yes, more times than not, maybe no.
Yeah, they don't cover your personal items. And, nothing against it. Also talk about, when you're renting condos and apartments and things of that nature, you may do everything right, but what does that neighbor do? Did the neighbor leave a little ceramic heater in the bathroom going? Did they leave a curling iron on? Did they forget something, which then causes damage to you and your stuff? And again, needing the additional living, and also your personal liability. So if you were sued personally on a liability, renter's insurance has liability just like your homeowner's does.
247-5400. That's why he is the #1 agent in the state, because he knows exactly. Of course, you can see there's no cheat sheets. It's all product knowledge, and he knows it well. Has been at it a long time, and so we talked to him about our buddy Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. One other thing too, it is March. Won't be that far away, and pools will be opening, and people have backyard pools. Now, does the need for, I know you tell us all the time to be constantly checking up and upgrading your automobile insurance. Does pooling, do you sometimes have to ramp up your pool insurance
pools,
too?
Play structures, trampolines, things to those at your home increase your liability. So yes, you should increase your liability limits. Again, we hope it never happens, but as somebody, we all get excited and we want all of our friends and family to come over. But if they get injured at that pool or on that trampoline, they can bring lawsuit to you. And so we talk about increases. So we first off talking about the protection for the pool itself. If you build your fencing, which you need fencing with pools or trampolines. And then if you build a pool house or a storage building to put things in. So how are we going to cover those? And then, of course, we immediately start talking about increasing that liability, because it is a greater liability risk than someone that just has a backyard. And the same thing, if you go putting up a play structure and you put up, they make all these elaborate ones now. They're pretty large, and they've got all these climb things, and they've got little tree houses in them, and you get all that. And then you're friends. So Claire has her friend over, and her friend and her climb up in there, and Claire decides she's going to rule the roost, and she pushes her out. I hope that doesn't happen, Claire. Please don't do that to Pop. That upset Pop and everybody else. But we got to make sure that liability is there, because that's more risk than, again, you may just have a backyard with a garden and plants and trees and things of that nature, which is a totally different risk.
Good
so as you
information.
said, we just asked for an opportunity. I can't do it all by myself. I have been blessed to be as strong as we are. But I've got Sandy White here. I got Tracy Pearson. We got Preston Harper. We got Tim Carr. And myself. We're all licensed. We can all talk. And Amanda Poor about left one out. Jim and his old brain here. And Amanda Poor. We're all licensed, and we can all discuss coverages. And we all discuss. I work with them on a regular basis when they're talking with people to guide them as well, to make sure that we're getting everybody covered properly, whether we're covering your home, your auto, whether we're covering the rental property. Preston and I were talking this morning, and we try to educate a lot of people on what we call personal liability policies, and that's an additional $1 million liability. There was a lawsuit in our area, and I told you this last time, but it was $2,347,000. The people are underinsured. And the letter from the attorney, because the verdict was awarded in court, and the letter from the attorney states that they will vigorously go after their personal assets and future incomes. And so that's a big thing when I talk to people about liability. As you say, I'm always talking about increasing liability on your home because you have the pool or the trampoline or the play structure, on your auto because there's liability out there. We hope we never make that mistakes, but it's an accident. Mistakes happen. And so we want to be properly protected, because our biggest asset is lots of times our future income. That discretionary money that you go on vacation, that you buy those extra toys, you do those things, that's the money that they can go after that you have to pay each month till it's paid back. Whether it's 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, depending on the verdict. So again, we just ask for an opportunity to discuss your coverages. You can call us at the 247-5400. You can stop by at 1309 East Center Street. We're right near Center and Wilcox, a little white house. You can email us. So we're on the web, farmers.com. You can look up Jim Cline or, Jay Cline at farmersagent.com. Or whatever's easiest for you, we'll work with you. We do after-hours appointments. Not a problem.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
To service and help everybody and explain what they have.
That's why you're number one. It's called customer service.
Well, I hope so. I think so. I do think so. Well, I do. You know, I say this, and I sincerely say this all the time. I care. I want you to have it. I want you to understand the coverage, and I want you to have the proper coverage. Premiums are important, and we've got to get the budget accordingly. But at the same time, we need protection. You know, and one big thing we've left out real quick, because I know we're running out of time, but that also is you, the person. Life insurance, we need to discuss it. You have it at work, and that's great. Take all that. You should own some on your own, and do you have enough? Do you have enough to protect the family of how you want to? Because people don't make it home every day. And we had a gentleman that talked to Tim, and I've told this story a million times. For 2 years, he kept on saying, I've got to do something, I've got to do something, I've got to do something. And he died, and he didn't do anything. And his wife was searching. He didn't do anything. You need to take care of your family. You need to have that conversation. It's not one we enjoy having, but it's reality.
Sure.
So we just ask for the opportunity to show you the products we have and how they work and explain them and customize your insurance program to meet your needs and meet your financial needs.
It's called life.
It is called life.
Yeah. You don't know what's around the corner.
No, we don't.
Just yesterday, I found 3 different scenarios that remain anonymous that, you know, they all took off expecting this to be another day.
Even though she can't have it, y'all can go ahead and buy it for Claire, and I'll help her consume it. And
Pop will check it out.
We'll
He'll
check it out and
sample
make sure it's all good.
Poor little Claire.
I know.
She'll have a fighting chance. No. Pop cleaned off her candy. Jim Cline Farmers Insurance, 247-5400. Again, I've been a card-carrying member of this gentleman's insurance for almost well over 20 years, and it's not going to change. He's a good one, and so he takes care of me, and I hopefully can take care of him along the way. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. We are going to hear from truck winner from yesterday, John Hunter Nemechek. Also, we're going to go up the street and hear from William Yarber from Mike's Medicine Mart. They're winding down the month of March with the Now product line and some other goodies we'll tell you about right after this. And then get ready to head over to Elizabethton for Cyclone baseball this afternoon against University High.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, it goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
On the Tom Bailey Sports Show, we will come up with and wrap up our show with our baseball and softball coverage locally, doing that coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's go to the phone. He's there. Our buddy William Yarber from Mike's Medicine Mart. Good afternoon, my good friend. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, Tom. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I thank you for checking in with us. So let's jump in and go. We got a couple more days left for the Now product line. And again, we were over there looking at the sports portion of the Now product line, which it's it's very thorough and very good. You got the egg protein, egg white protein. You got the creatine. You got several different products over there that Now puts out for folks that are kind of athletically minded. Tell me about that, would you please?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have a whole section here on just the Now sports products. We have anything from a sports multi to recovery factors, which is the sports recovery, and we have sports energy extreme. And as far as the powders go, like you mentioned, we have the egg white protein powder, a carbo gain for those wanting to kind of add some bulk, and amino acid pre-workout, a branched chain amino acid powder that can be added to any smoothie. And we also have these are kind of into the story. It's a Now blender, so you can have it's like a little personal 1-cup blender that's right here with all of our protein powders and everything. So you can get all your supplies here and head over to the refrigerator and get some freezer. And get some fruit to go in your smoothie. So we got you completely covered here.
There you go at Mike's Medicine Mart. So all kinds of goodies over there from the Now product line. And then that's kind of on the sports side of the Now line. The regular Now product line, what's been the big seller, the top 3 sellers so far this month from the Now product line?
Well, definitely their CoQ10. They have a unique one that's paired with hawthorn berry, so that can help with a few different heart conditions and different things like that. So, we have the CoQ10 that's selling great, and then their green tea extract is selling wonderful this time of the year. Everybody's taking advantage of getting 20 off on top of it. Just something you can do to add kick to your metabolism, a little bit of a kick to your energy as well. And then, of course, we're still at the end of flu season, so their vitamin C's flying out pretty quick too at 20% off.
We're talking to our buddy again. That would be William Yarber from Mike's Medicine Mart. So tell us again, coming up, we start next month on April the 1st, obviously, which is Sunday. You're going to be closed for Easter Sunday, but starting on Monday the 2nd, we roll out a brand new supplement on sale. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're coming up on one of the months where we feature 2 brands. This month is Nature's Way products, which, just their probiotics alone, we have a lot of patients that come in and just love their probiotics. They're a little unique. And we have they do a better range of selection for strains and potency. We have, probiotics from Nature's Way from kids powders up to the adult probiotics ranging from 5 billion up to 200 billion. So, pretty much every strain, every strength that you would need depending on, what problems you're going through. We have them, for daily maintenance, and then the higher powered ones for patients that are having some really bad gastrointestinal issues, and then also coming off antibiotics. So have a probiotic for everybody here. And you can't talk about Nature's Way without talking about their elderberry products. That is something that's become highly sought after the past few months, and it's still going on. I was reading the other day about how supposedly another wave of the flu is to sweep by, so it'd be a good time to come in and get the elderberry products here. And it's also good for seasonal allergies too. A lot of people don't know that, but elderberry is great for allergies as well. So all their elderberry products will be 20% off as well. And then they're single herbs. And we have probably collectively over 200 different Nature's Way products, but their single herbs are one of the best sellers next to probiotics probably. But they do a great job. Very simple, just single herb in the capsule. So we have everything that they carry as far as the single herbs go, so there's quite a bit of selection on those. So all those will be 20% off next month from the Nature's Way. And then, of course, we have Nutrigold, which does a really great job on their products. They're all non-GMO, very clean labels, very clean ingredients. One of the really unique products they do is an Omega, CoQ10, and D3 all-in-one. So we have a lot of patients that are taking all 3 of the supplements, and when in the morning, if you're anything like me, you got your handful that you're taking. So that kind of helps, take some of the capsules out that you're not taking so many, getting all in one dose, convenient. It seems to be a little easier on the wallet too, when you can get them combined that way. And then, of course, NutriBuild also does, we have their minerals. We carry their magnesium. It is actually ocean water source. And then you have their iron, which is a plant-based. Plant-based iron absorbs a lot easier, and you also don't have any of the negative side effects from some of the mineral-sourced iron as far as constipation and stomach issues go. So it's kind of a no side effect type of iron you can take if you're having issues with your current one.
Telling our buddy William Yarber again, we are live here at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance for a couple of more minutes. And so before I let you go, we got the March Madness coming up this weekend. And give me some more food items coming out of the Good Food Grocery you want to showcase, would you please?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always adding new products here. We try to keep it as, just a wide selection as possible. So, as far as everything goes, we have, vegetarian meat replacements, vegan burgers. The Beyond Meat Beyond Burger is kind of fairly new, and I've been told by quite a few customers it's hard to find. So, we carry those. We also carry a lot of the Amish cheeses that, make great party trays. A new one to the Troyer line is some goat cheese. There's a garlic and herb, and then just an original. The raw milk cheddar is great. And, of course, we always carry their butter and their shelf-stable cheeses, which are great sellers. It's good sellers for a reason. They're good quality products. And then, of course, our drinks. We have, ginger beer, different types of teas, stevia-based sodas. So pretty much anything you need, we got you covered at max.
You got it, and you're open 7 days a week, with the exception we'll be closed on Easter Sunday. But other than that, give us the hours we're open at Max Medicine Mart.
Yeah, Monday through Friday we're open from 8 to 7. Saturday we're open 8 to 6. And Sunday, of course, we'll be closed this Sunday, but Sunday we're normally open 1 to 5.
There you go. So for all your needs, be sure and make tracks to Max. William Yarber, great report, my friend. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right, sounds great.
All right, good man right there, buddy. William Yarber, thank you, my friend, doing a super job as always. We're live here again at Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. As you heard him say a few minutes ago, he's the #1 agent in the state of Tennessee, and he doesn't brag. He just tells you great customer service and a great staff to make it happen, and they are and is and are the #1. He is, and they are, I should say, the #1 farmers agent in the state, he and his great staff. As promised, here's John Hunter Nemechek, brought home the checkers yesterday, again in the truck race, the Camping World Truck Series race in Martinsville. Won himself a grandfather clock, which is what you take home when you win at Martinsville. It's a big old literal grandfather clock. And here is John Hunter Nemechek, talking about the win yesterday at Martinsville in the Truck Series.
I felt pretty confident going into today about our truck. This is actually the truck that we won both races that we won with last year at Gateway and Iowa, and we decided to bring it for the first time to Martinsville here this year. Worked really hard on it all weekend. We unloaded with a lot of speed, and we just kept working on our truck all day. I kept telling Jerry kind of what I thought I needed, and he made a couple of slight adjustments, but really nothing. We kind of stayed the balance all day of what we were fighting, and we had a long green flag run there. We were able to get by some guys, and we had really good long run speed there at the end.
That's John Hunter Nemechek again winning the truck race yesterday. The truck's again off until Dover, May the 4th. Next week, of course, everybody's off this week for Easter, and then next week you go to the Xfinity Series at Texas Motor Speedway, and of course the Cup Series as well at Texas Motor Speedway. Before we get out of here, let's run down the NBA from last night. Your winners: Philadelphia, Charlotte, Detroit, Memphis, and Boston. Coming up tonight, got three or four good ones. San Antonio, my Spurs, on the road at Washington. 43 wins for the Spurs, 40 wins for Washington. Denver at 40-34, playing at Toronto tonight at 54-20. Cavaliers playing Miami tonight with LeBron and the boys. Also, Portland with a 45-win season in New Orleans is 143. Houston, the Rockets, with the best record in the NBA, hosting the lowly Chicago Bulls tonight. Dallas plays at Sacramento, Indiana at Golden State, and Milwaukee against the Clippers in Los Angeles. In the National Hockey League, let's take a look what's going on there from last night. Your finals, your winners were Buffalo, Carolina, Florida, Washington, the Montreal Canadiens. Arizona knocks off the #1 team of the National Hockey League. Arizona with only 26 wins, defeats Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay 4-1. it was San Jose skating past in a shootout the Chicago Blackhawks. Vegas defeats Colorado, and it was L.A. shutting out Calgary in Los Angeles. Today, it goes as follows. The Predators at home against the Minnesota Wild today. Predators are tonight. Predators at 48-16. The Wild at 42-24 on the season. Carolina skates in New Jersey. The Islanders in Ottawa. Detroit hosting the defending Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins. San Jose skates in St. Louis tonight against the Blues. Minnesota in Nashville, as we said, 8 o'clock to drop the puck, our time. Boston at Winnipeg. Philadelphia skates at Dallas. The Columbus Blue Jackets in Edmonton against the Oilers. And Anaheim, the Ducks in Vancouver against the Canucks. So the Ducks skate against the Canucks tonight. The Ducks and the Canucks. There you have it. All right, before we get out of here, a couple of local sports news. Tori Hale, the basketball coach at Solomon South, stepping down. Again, after the Lady Rebels showed a 12-win improvement over the previous season, she shared the Three Rivers Conference Coach of the Year award with Christy Walling of Solomon Central for this past season. Lady Rebel coach says she's going to want to spend more time with her family. She's got several children, so her overall record is 58-76. Very misleading because she had a couple of seasons when South took their lumps because they were very, very young. And so Tori Hale, the daughter of Kathy and Rodney Burton, just a solid family from top to bottom, just with Millard and Mimi, and that's the grandparents, and then of course Rodney and Kathy, and now Tori and Bo, and oh boy, Kaylee. And so just a super family. But Tori Hill stepping away as the basketball coach for the Sullivan South Lady Rebels. Let's see what's happening in high school baseball from yesterday. It was the Hilltoppers getting a big win. Dobyns-Bennett got a big win. Let's start a little closer down the street here. It was a big win for the Indians of Dobyns-Bennett as they, again, Jeremiah Ball threw a few more pitches than he's been used to throwing, paid big dividends. Ball usually works the role of a closer through a complete game shutout, 1-0 Big 7 win over Crockett at J. Fred Johnson Stadium. The offense for the Indians provided by Noah Hale with an RBI double that scored Cade Maupin from second base in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that was it. So a great ball game there. And Dobyns-Bennett and Crockett will play again today as they flip sites, and they'll be in Jonesboro today to play there. On a historic night where Hawkins County rivals Volunteer and Cherokee met for the first time on the baseball field as Big 7 conference foes, Cherokee's Ethan Crowder put on a performance, retired 14 in a row to close out the game, a 7-0 win over the Falcons at the reservation of the Cherokee campus. Collins hit 4 RBIs. Nick Collins we're talking about, went 2 for 3. Had the only extra base hit for the Chiefs, who are now 7-2. Ethan Bledsoe also had an RBI. A Volunteer committed 7 errors, and pitcher Ethan Sargent was charged with 4 unearned runs to start the game. Cherokee's now won 7 out of the last 9 with Volunteer, including the past 2. So big win again at home yesterday for Cherokee. They'll play each other today up the road here, a little closer to Volunteer in their own field in Churchill. What else happening in sports? It was last night. Science Hill Hilltoppers getting a big win. Brandon Feathers wasn't perfect as he was last week, but he did okay. He had a solid outing to lead the Hilltoppers to an 11-1 win at Daniel Boone. Feathers gave up 1 run, 3 hits, 3 walks in 6 innings. His teammates made sure it was more than enough with 11 hits, including 4 for extra bases. Every one of the Hilltoppers starting lineup reached base, and 8 of the 9 scored at least 1 run. Hilltoppers go to 7-2, 3-0 in the Big 7. Daniel Boone falls to 6-2 overall and 3-1 in the Big 7. Tennessee High, a red-hot baseball team. They are now 8-1 on the season, averaging 14 runs a game. They have outscored their opponents 127-18, which is an average of a score of 14-2. So Tennessee High has been red-hot, continues to be red-hot, and so that's a baseball team under Preston Roberts that's getting it done. University High, Elizabethton's opponent today will have it for you at 4:45 airtime. First pitch at 5 o'clock. University High struck for 7 first-inning runs to beat the FCA Flames. That was a win of 8-1. Also won the second game by the tune of 12-4, so a doubleheader win for University High. Sullivan South, Austin Mons drove in 4 runs. The Rebels ran away from Happy Valley early by scoring 8 runs in the first 3 innings. Chase Bowery had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Corey Williams homered, also went the distance on the mound, allowing 2 hits, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. It was Luke Naylor and Bart Wilson having RBIs for the Warriors. Sullivan South all over Happy Valley 12-2 in baseball. Sullivan North beat Hampton 15-13. North led 4-0 before Hampton rallied to take a 7-4 lead. Raiders came back to make it 10-7, but Hampton tied it 10-10 in the fifth. North scored 5 at the top of the sixth. Hampton rallied for 3 in the bottom of the inning before the game was called because of darkness. 15-13, North wins that one over the Hampton Bulldogs in high school baseball from yesterday. And Sullivan Central, the Cougars, Jacob Fields had 3 hits in his first 3 varsity at-bats. That's a pretty good way to start your season. And the Cougars rolled to the win 11-6 over Johnson County. Trey Sales, Caden Grayer, Greg Akert, and Austin Fleener each had 2 hits. Central had 14 hits in the ball game. Also, you have Unaka. Keep an eye on this kid named John Ramsey. I've not seen him pitch yet. He had 13 more strikeouts yesterday. Unaka beat North Green 3-2 in boys high school baseball. Softball, it goes like this. It was Canelan over Daniel Boone down in Myrtle Beach 7-2. Unicoi County defeats Sullivan South 7-4 in girls softball. Hallie Pageant had a big night at the plate for Unicoi County, homering and driving in 5 of the team's 7 runs. Haley Pageant did that, and Haley Hawkins also homered and had 2 hits. Riley Stiltner and Sidney Miller each had 2 more hits for Unicoi County. Pageant in the circle allowed 9 hits but struck out 7, walked none. Great performance there by Haley Pageant. And then Laura Dade had 3 hits and 3 RBIs for the Lady Rebels in that loss. Grove City beat Elizabeth in 10-1 down in Myrtle Beach. Grove City out of Ohio pounded out 11 hits and 10 runs against Elizabeth and starter Kelly Cunningham. Dobbins Minute wins 11-7. Allison Reese had a double and a home run to pace the Lady Indians. Morgan Riffle earned the win in the circle, which is what they call the pitcher's mound, as DB improved to 6-3 on the season. Tennessee High's ladies beat Sullivan East 6-5, scoring 4 times in the bottom of the fifth. And Sullivan Central's ladies all over University High 13-0. They played that one. 3 Lady Cougars had 2 RBIs apiece. Courtney Willis and Jasmine Sheffield on a 1-hitter in the circle. And so Ashley Stedman, Faith Campbell, and Maddie Flanagan each drove in 2 runs for the Lady Cougars in that ball game. So before we get out of here, let's run down again the schedules for today. First off, in baseball, it goes as follows. You have Daniel Boone at Science Hill, Dobbins Minute at Crockett, Cherokee at Volunteer, Tennessee High at Virginia High. Sullivan Central plays at Johnson County. Unicoi County, who do they play? Unicoi County, we just ran down these scores. Unicoi County will play Sullivan East. University High will beat Elizabeth, and we'll have that game for you right here beginning at 4:45. North Green at Unaka, Hampton at Sullivan North, and Cloudland against the Tri-Cities Flames. That's in baseball. In softball today, you have Crockett against East North Lake in Myrtle Beach. Daniel Boone takes on Fairfax, Virginia in the North Myrtle Beach tournament. Elizabethton plays there as well. Here, closer to home, Dobbins Minute at Tennessee High, Sullivan Central's ladies at Happy Valley, Johnson County's ladies at Sullivan South, Sullivan North at Sullivan East, Cloudland at University High, and North Green's ladies in Unaka against the Lady Rangers. And that's a look at what's going on in sports, and that's what's going to wrap up this show. We thank again our guest, William Yarber from Mike's Medicine Mart, Dana Whiteside talking hoops, and Mike Hedrick talking NASCAR, Jim Cline talking Jim Cline Farmers Insurance. Out of time, we sincerely thank you for yours, and we will rejoin you again later on this afternoon, 4:45 airtime. First pitch at 5 o'clock from Elizabethton, the Cyclones, and the University High Junior Bucks out of Johnson City. Until then, for Jim Cline and for all of our guests, this is Tom Taylor telling you as always, win or lose, be a good sport. So long, everybody.